Scanning doesn't mean skimming. Okay, it means to break it down into syllables, giving each syllable its either stress or unstress, and you will be asked to do this. So let's go ahead and turn to the rate of block over here on page 493 is where it begins. We're going to look at 2 lines, and we're going to talk about neoclassical poetry and how what the emphasis is, or what a strong emphasis is placed on form and structure and that sort of thing. By the time we get to, say, T.S. Eliot, Walt Whitman, we're going to feel like there isn't this structure. But when you read The Rate of the Lock, when you just start reading it out loud, what dire offense from amorous causes springs, what mighty contests rise from trivial things. I sing this verse to Carol, muse is due. This even Belinda may vouchsafe to view. Slight is the subject, but not so the praise, if she inspire and he approve my lays. Say, what strange motive goddess could compel the well-bred lord to assault a gentle bell? Oh, say, what stranger cause yet unexplored could make a gentle bell reject the lord? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, it's got a very strong meter, and the rhyme scheme is A, A, B, B, C, C, and every 2 lines you've got a rhyme. So I want you to look at how that works, and we're going to talk about scansion. This is scansion, okay? This is scansion. And how to scan, we're going to start with 2 lines of poetry, okay? We're going to start with line 7 on page 493. Line 7 of the poem, that is, say, what strange motive goddess could compel a well-bred lord to assault a gentle bell? Okay? So we're going to start with this because I want you to see how it works. The next line there, so that I'm sure I'm writing it correctly. A well-bred lord to
assault a gentle bell.
A gentle bell. Thank you. Okay. Question mark. Question mark. Okay, now, is anybody in here in Ramport? I've got 2. Oh, good, we got 2 people. You get to participate this way. Okay, here we go. What different kinds of rhythms are there when you're playing? Like, what is the simplest, probably? Is there like a simple rhythm, or is there, like, how do you know how often to hit the drum?
Well, there's different styles. Rhythms, depending if you're playing like a Latin song or a jazz song or a rock song.
Do you hit, okay, like you've probably got 2 sticks, right? Okay. I don't know anything about this, so this is totally an experiment going down a totally new road and explaining poetry. But you've got 2 drumsticks, and I would guess typically you hit the drum with one and then you hit it with the other one, right? Okay. one beat got more stress than the others, right? Thank you. That's what I was looking for. You emphasize some more than the others. So that you've almost got like a little phrase there, right? Okay. I don't know if that's proper terminology. Okay. It's kind of like if you had a phrase in words, right? The same thing happens when we speak. Okay? Individual words, and now we're going back, my daughter has even talked about this, that how many syllables things have. She's in first grade. You start learning syllables, right? And that some words have multiple syllables, and you accent certain syllables. Otherwise, you're going to accent the wrong syllable or something like that. It sounds really weird if you mess it up, right? You don't notice it when you're doing it the right way, but if it's wrong, it sounds really wacko. So we want to pay attention to what's going on here because he does the same pattern, just like there were two different patterns that you did, and you repeated them. He uses one pattern all the way through. That's why it starts sounding sing-song, especially when you wind up with 2 lines rhyme, then the next 2 lines rhyme differently, then the next 2 lines, then the next 2 lines. So it's very regular, it's very structured. There's a very strong, clear form here, okay? Now, I want, let's see, I'm just going to, I'll read the line, the first line, and say, what strange motive goddess could compel, okay? Now, I'm going to start, which side of the room? I'll start with you. Would you please just read that first line for me?
Say, what strange motive goddess could compel?
Okay, stop there. Now, the two of you need to read it and read it kind of loud for us together. 1, 2, 3, read.
Say what strange motive goddess could compel.
Okay. Now, all 3 of you have to do this. 1, 2, 3, read it out loud.
Say what strange motive goddess could compel.
Now, I just want you to read this word.
Goddess.
Goddess.
All together?
Goddess.
Okay. Which one is emphasized? Okay, how many syllables, first of all? 2. Goddess. Okay. So we've got one line between the 2 syllables. Which one do you say harder, God or des?
Des.
Okay, everybody in the class, we're going to just read it together. What is, everybody on 3, I just want you to tell me the word. 1, 2, 3.
Goddess.
What did you do? God or des? God. Goddess, right? Okay, say it one more time.
Goddess.
Yeah, you almost don't do the S in there.
Well, it depends on how you're talking out here.
Okay.
To get an in part.
Okay, that's true. Yeah. How about, okay, we're gonna say that at least by democratic choice, we'll go with God gets more of an emphasis, okay? And actually, if you look up, it helps when you're doing scansion, if you get really lost, you can always look up the words that have more than 1 syllable and see what the dictionary says. And the dictionary would say you would put stress on God here. What is, let's see, Tia? Read me this word. Motive, okay. And how many syllables? 2. And where do I break the syllable? After motive, okay. Motive, okay. And then, Disa, can you read me the word? Motive. And then join her. Motive. 1, 2, 3.
Motive.
Okay, and then all 3 of you. 1, 2, 3.
Motive.
Okay, then the whole back row on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Motive.
Motive. Okay, where's the emphasis?
Motive.
Okay. Motive. Wherever you have the syllable accented, you're going to put 1 line. I mean, a slash. You're going to, a little thing like that. If it's not accented, you put a little U. Okay? Now, how about, I'll go ahead and draw the line there, and I'm going to get, Blake, Drew?
Blake.
Okay, well, you're both going to want to read it again. Drew, you start for us. Read me this word.
What's that letter on the line?
This is C-O-M, and then this is a P. Compel.
Okay, compel.
Compel, okay? Both of you.
Compel.
Together?
Compel.
Okay, now the whole table. 1, 2, 3, go.
Compel.
not. Now, we also want to draw lines, so you have to have one line in between every syllable, okay? How many syllables are in this word? One. How many in this one?
One.
How many in this one?
One.
Strange. One. Yeah. Strange motive. And this is a separate, these are separate syllables. Okay? Okay, and there. So, how many syllables, first of all, do we have? Niece, just tell me how many syllables.
10.
Good, thank you, yes. It's hard, I wouldn't be able to read it from back there. I can't keep things separate. That's good. Yes, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got 10, okay? Now, whenever you're reading along, let's just start at motive, goddess, could compel. We've got motive, goddess, compel. We've got stressed, stressed, What would come here? Stress, good. Now, it's not that the word could is always going to be stressed in a poem, but in this sense, when you're reading along, that's where the pattern kind of flows that way. So, do you notice that there is a pattern here? Mm-hmm. Okay, what is repeated over and over there? What is the pattern of emphasis?
Stress, unstressed.
We've got stressed, unstressed. Okay, now let's go back. It's like that would be a foot, we could guess at this point, but we're not real sure. Okay, so let's start at the beginning here. Say, what's strange motive? What's going to get emphasis here?
What?
Which means that these two are going to be unstressed. Okay? Now, what's our pattern? When you really look at it. It's actually unstressed, stressed, because we're beginning later. Or we begin with unstressed. And so now, and it ends that way. Now, wherever this would be a foot. It's called a foot. A metrical foot. Okay? So, how many feet do I have? If this is 1 foot, we have 10 syllables. We'll have 5 feet, because each foot has 2 syllables. So, we're going to divide the feet. When you scan a poem, the first thing you do is you go through and divide the syllables like this. So, step 1, maybe this is the problem. I have never said what steps go through. Mark syllables with 1 line. 2. Mark stressed and unstressed syllables. 3. Divide the line into feet with a second line. Okay? So the first foot, we will say you've got unstressed, stressed. So we've got unstressed, stressed. You'll mark a second line here. Okay? Unstressed, stressed. That's a foot. So you've got right there. You've got your foot. Then unstressed, stressed, divided. Unstressed, stressed, divided. And I mean, you could put a line at the beginning and at the end, I guess. I don't do that. But you see that you've got 5 feet. I just wrote 5 foot here. 5 feet. I can't think and talk and write at the same time. 5 feet. We have 5 feet of unstressed, stressed feet. Okay. Now, what are these called? Okay. First of all, for feet, you're going to have for numbers of feet. Numbers of feet. If you had only 1 foot per line, it would be manometer. you've got manometer for 1 foot. Okay, if you've got 2, it's dimeter. If you have 3, it's trimeter. And I'm trying to remember 4. What's 4? Quant? It's something that sounds like 5 to me, but it's not. It's not. It's not pentameter because 5 is. Hang on. It always escapes me. I get to this point and I can't remember it. Metric and 5 feet is what we have. We have 5 feet, which is pentameter. Okay. If you have 5 feet per line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 feet per line is pentameter. Okay. So, these are 2 lines of pentameter, but what kind of pentameter? We have unstressed, stressed, that gets repeated over and over again, right? I hope this part's kind of hard to see, but with Pope, every time you get a line, I mean, it's going to be very regular for Alexander Pope. He's just about always going to give you iambic pentameter. This is an iamb. There are other ways there are other patterns of scansion, okay? There are other patterns. But the unstressed, stressed foot is an iamb. That is an iamb. The word compel is an iamb. The word iamb is not an iamb because it's iamb instead of I am. So its accent is different. Okay. Did that just confuse you? You can just always remember if you're saying I am, then the stress is opposite of the word itself. Its name doesn't sound like what it is. Okay. There's another way you could stress it, and we were kind of thinking that when we were down here dividing syllables, where we're saying stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed. If your feet are stressed and then unstressed, then it is a trochee. Okay? And you don't need to know so much about trochees and dactyls and all of that right now. But just getting the terminology right. Okay? So, right now what we have, and we're looking, this is from Pope's 3rd of July. Okay? And I'll just tell you at this point, I'll go ahead and tell you at this point to make it easier. Once you get one kind of line out of Alexander Pope, you're going to get all of them like that. So let's do this line. Who can I get to come up here? And Hannah can do this. Would you come up? And all you have to do at this point is, would you come up? And all I want you to do is to draw lines between the syllables for me. Two words. Well, it's a word. Just between the syllables. Syllables can be split. I think I put the with it. It's going to be tussle. Tussle. Well, no, I mean the yeah, right.
Ballet or bell?
Bell. Yeah, okay, good. And thank you. Excellent. And now, because Hannah sits next to you, Hannah gets to come up here and figure out gentle, whether it's gentle or gentle. The unaccented is the one that you kind of don't hear so much is the U, and the forceful one is the.
So the gentle one's the U. Yes.
Well, gentle's going to have a U and a slash. Are you talking about the gentle syllable, or are you talking about the word gentle?
What do you want me to do?
Okay, the word gentle?
Okay.
Which
Oh, you're asking about that word specifically.
Yes,
Okay.
that word specifically, yes. Which one's got oomph? Do y'all agree?
Yeah.
You say, no? Do you say gentle or do you say gentle?
Depending on how you saying it. Gentle, I think it's how you pronounce it. Some people say gentle, some people say gentle.
I think it's the opposite.
You think it's the opposite?
I think it's the opposite of that.
All right, okay, here we're gonna try something. Okay, you have to lean foot in this, then
You get a G more than you put an O for.
Okay. So we're all, when she says 3, we're all gonna say the word and you're gonna say it 5 times, okay? I feel like, okay, we're gonna say it 5 times.
That's where you're gonna get top like when you say 5 times.
Okay, I have one question.
Yes,
It's gonna be this, is that the same pattern, right?
it's gonna be the exact same
Okay,
pattern
if
as
you go by that pattern, you, side the gentle is gonna, if you do it that way, then gentle should have an accent.
it should be flipped around. If we're gonna follow the pattern,
If
it
you
should
follow
be
the
flipped
pattern,
around.
that's okay.
Okay, but we wanna make sure that Alexander Pope knows how to speak properly. So we're gonna make sure by saying this word 5 times together. I think you're right.
Well, I
Okay,
mean, if we have a consistent pattern.
okay, let's say 1, 2, 3. Salt a gentle bell. That's right. Now, where am I going to mark the first foot? Where does the first foot end? Right after well. Very good. Okay. Where does the second foot end? After Lord. Where does the third foot end? Heidi.
After alt.
After alt. Good. Where does the fourth foot end? After the A. After the A? In between, yes. Believe me, this is one of the harder things to do, to figure out where those are. But you have to kind of forget that there are whole words, and you just have to look for the pattern, and so you stop it there. Then toll bell, that's our last foot, right? Okay, so we have, again, 5 feet, so it's pentameter, and what kind? This is a noun, but we want to turn it into an adjective, so it is iambic pentameter. It means that it is every line in the poem, in this case every line, has 5 feet of iams. Okay, so who cares? That's the next thing. Who cares? It's the same thing as what you've got to know is that Spanish music has one rhythm, right? Cajun music would have another rhythm. What would be the, I apologize to everyone who doesn't like country music, but what would the rhythm typically be for country music? You don't know? Okay. How about a waltz? Not that you can play 3/4. Let's hear 3/4. Okay. How about a march? Like Sousa's
Usually cut time.
cut time. What's cut time?
It's like half common time.
She doesn't know what that means.
I don't know how to explain it.
Does it have a regular rhythm?
Common time is 4/4. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Take 4/4 and cut it in half.
So it's 2/4.
Like an eighth note, which would be in 4/4, 1, 2, 3, 4 would be a quarter note, and 1, 2, 3, 4 would be an eighth note in cut time. Well, that's a little fast, but
Okay, so it's a little faster, but it's still regular, right?
right.
Now, would you ever play a march in 3/4 time?
3/4 march.
I mean, there's
You would have a bunch of soldiers kind of dancing down the road or something. It'd be very weird. convey a different mood, right? You use a variety of meters to convey a variety of moods, tones, right? Yeah. Like if you turn on the radio, okay, since we don't all play drums, if you turn on the radio, you know whether you're listening to a jazz station or a rap station or a country station or a waltz station, if there is such thing. You know what kind of music you're listening to by the meter, right? Okay? You may not be able to analyze all of it, and that's okay. But the meter is used to convey one or another mood. In this case, we are dealing with neoclassical, a neoclassical form here. It's Augustan verse. He's writing, I mean, if you look at Pope's years, the dates of his life, page 489, he was born in 1688, died in 1744, okay? So, and I do strongly recommend, hint to everyone, here and on the computer. I strongly recommend right before the test, go back and look at these lines again and know that they are iambic pentameter, that there are 5 feet, and you know where the lines and the accent marks go. This is for everyone, okay? There you go. Those 2 lines, okay? And then it's I am, so it's da-da, da-da. You know how to do that, okay? Hannah Beth, you've had my classes before. You would recommend doing that right before the test, wouldn't you? Okay. Yeah, so it actually could help, couldn't it? Yeah, Hannah knows these things. Okay, so here's what we want to do. We want to talk about why is Pope writing this way. He is writing what's called neoclassical poetry. Specifically, it's Augustan verse. Okay, he's writing during kind of the Enlightenment era, this neoclassical literature. If you think about classical forms, I mean, he's going back to the ancients. We had the Renaissance and all that. We're now going back to ancient forms, classical forms. And we're looking at, I mean, if you think about the Enlightenment era, if you think about 1744, if you even think about, like how, I'll just tell you, instead of playing the guess what's on the teacher's mind. Things that are important at this time are reason. Okay? Actually, let me erase Augustan verse right now. This goes more with neoclassical. Reason is important. Now, romantic, we are not there yet. Okay, we're not at the Romantic era yet. But I'm going to show you, I'm putting this up here because you'll notice this in a couple of weeks. I want you to see that this is going to be different from this. Okay, because it's like, okay, so reason's important. Well, reason's important to everybody, usually, unless you want to just go do something crazy. But why do I say reason? Because in this time, reason's important as opposed to emotion. When we get to the Romantic poets, it's going to be how I feel about everything, right? It's like I want to get in touch with the universe or whoever it is. So reason is important. Taste is important, okay? Rather than kind of down to earth, everything is good kind of thing. In this case, taste is important. Polish is important. Common sense. You would never get the song Red Solo Cup at this time, if you know what I'm talking about, okay? What? But it's fun. I mean, it's ridiculous, but it's fun, okay?
Roll Tide.
Okay, so this is the era of not Red Solo Cup, okay? Not. So over here we have polished common sense. We also have neoclassical verse, Augustan verse is part of that. We see something called the heroic couplet. the board. A heroic couplet is, know the definition of a heroic couplet and an example of it. Okay? A heroic couplet is 2 lines. It's a couple of lines, couple, 2 lines of rhymed. What kind of meter did we say? Of iambic pentameter, yes. Of rhyme, iambic pentameter that express a complete plot. Okay. As opposed to the romantics, who might break those lines up, or the romantics who might not use iambic pentameter, or they might not rhyme every 2 lines. And then when you get into, well, if you get into contemporary verse, kind of nothing rhymes. You might not even have sentences or complete thoughts. You just get images kind of everywhere and stuff that's fragments when you get to the 20th. You have a sense of self-control, decorum in public, and decorum in public. Whoops, I'm spelling wrong. In public and private life. What's decorum? Nice curtains? It means that one follows the rules of society. You dress properly and speak properly, and perhaps we wouldn't show our ankles or our wrists because that wouldn't be decorous. We must keep our wrists covered. Yes? It's just, I'm a floozy if I'm showing my wrists. We're going to be proper. We will meet in salons. We'll meet in people's living rooms and drink tea and be polite and proper and use proper grammar and all of this, right? So, you get this in the Rape of the Lock. We don't talk about eating babies in this society. That would just be too horrible. It's just, it might make people swoon. The ladies would swoon. So, we want decorum. We also are concerned about class and social structure. Keeping your place in society, that sort of thing. And fulfilling your societal duties, all of that. You can see that in the Rape of the Lock. Okay? You can see that in, where are they, first of all? Where does it take place? Okay? And what do we meet her doing, first of all? What's she doing at the very beginning here?
Sleeping?
She's sleeping. And then what happens?
Some creeper comes in and wakes her up.
What? Pizza? Oh, I heard a voice.
I said somebody visits her in her sleep, right? Or she has a dream or something?
She has a dream, okay? There's a dream that maybe something bad might happen, right? And then a foreshadowing. You got this foreshadowing, okay? And then she wakes up, and what does she spend her morning doing?
Getting ready for the party.
Yes, actually it's not even morning. She wakes up like at noon and she gets ready for the party. And so I want you to, we have 2 days, I hope we have 2 days on Pope. I believe we have 2 days on. Do we have 2 days on Pope? Good. Okay, that's what I said, we can't do this in 1 day. I want you to go back, okay, and look again. I know you read it for today. You actually memorized the whole thing for today. But I want you to go back. There could be a quiz on Monday. Okay. I want you to go back, and I want you to pay close attention to page 496. Okay? Page 496. And I want you to think about, what is England doing about this time? What's going on historically in England about this time? That kind of thing, that we're on page 496. Okay. Also, don't forget that by tomorrow at midnight, you need to have posted on a modest proposal. What I'm going to do is I've got